Hello, welcome to part 2 of this first look at the game 80 Days, based on Jules Verne's book Around the World in 80 Days. I appear to be the character Passepartout, a French guy, and I will carry on doing his voice undaunted. See part 1 if you haven't seen it, I suppose. We're heading to India, I think, on a ship. We're just at Aden, in the south of Arabia somewhere. At breakfast, I saw a young bronze-skinned lady in a lilac day dress scribbling in a notebook her eggs and smoked mackerel untouched upon her plate. I decided to introduce myself and express my curiosity about her writing. She shut up her notebook violently and slipped it into her lap. "My words are my own and none of your concern," she hissed, glancing down at her breakfast as though she would like to fling it in my face. Oh, she is glancing down at her breakfast as though she would like to fling it in my face. "I did not intend to pry." I retreated a step or two, unwilling to chance a close encounter with congealing eggs. She rolled her eyes and tugged angrily upon her lace cuffs. "Of course you did. Why must people tell outright lies in the name of politesse?" I was saved from having to make an answer by the arrival of the lady's father, Monsieur Williamson. "Eleanor," he said reprovingly, "who is this man?" "My name is Noor," she said firmly, "and this man is no one of consequence. I am sure you will find him most congenial, father." With that she swept away, leaving me to make my excuses and return with furious gusto to my own breakfast. My character is now dependable. To keep him up in health, I happened upon Demoiselle Williamson in the piano room, where she was studying or studiously ignoring the music and merriment in favour of her notebook. I tried to glimpse the contents stealthily. Adriana threw herself upon the ancient sarcophagus. "I will not let you plunder this tomb," she cried, her voice cracking with defiance. Lord Havering raked his coal-black eyes across her body. I tore my gaze away from the page and ducked behind a potted plant as Mademoiselle Williamson glanced up. A near escape and an intriguing fragment of text to whet my appetite. I'm improving his health. Good. Monsieur Williamson offered me a pipeful of tobacco in the evening. "I am perplexed by my daughter," he admitted miserably. "What is so perplexing?" I asked gently. "She does not behave in the manner of a lady at all," he groaned. "She told me last night that she has been writing penny dreadfuls for the past year. She is..." His gentlemanly voice dropped with horror, so the last word was a mere croak. "Published." The fragments of text I had glimpsed in her notebook flashed rather awkwardly through my mind. "You fear a scandal?" "Scandal is already bitten. She has broken her engagement because she has independent means." "Perhaps then she will find her own husband," I suggested. Monsieur Williamson's neck turned an unsavoury shade of purple. "But anyone with a penny may now read her most intimate thoughts. wantonly printed upon the page. I am sure they are not true thoughts, monsieur. Who is to know? He shrugged. And whatever are her true thoughts? She is as thorough a mystery to me as... His imagination failed, and he spat. A foreigner! I sighed and considered my next words. At least she has told you the truth. After only a year of lies, Monsieur Williamson corrected bitterly. He took his leave soon after, and as I retired to bed, I saw him still pacing the deck, eyes downcast. Oh, we're heading to Bombay. A sleeved volume had been slid under my door in the night, bound with a ribbon and a short note. Apparently my father has already spilled my secrets, so I shall not deny it. I am a published woman, and here is my latest 2-volume as proof. Miss Noor Williamson. I turned the book over. Did I dare open it after what I had seen previously? Of course I did. I began at the first page. Adriana Harawi was no ordinary lady. While other girls of her age and background took up watercolours and practised their scales upon the piano and dreamed of matrimony, Adriana dreamed of sun-bleached cities and featureless deserts of yellow sand. I settled in to read Miss Williamson's novella until my master woke and required my services. Well, demanded Demoiselle Williamson at lunch, what did you think of my story? Adriana is a charming creation. I only wish my father thought so, she sighed. He read my volume last night and believes Adriana is merely a cipher for my own passions and being. He does not understand art clearly. The demoiselle tossed her head. Worse, he believes Lord Havering to be Adriana's lover, and now suspects that I am concealing my own paramour from him. She glared into the middle distance. Lord Havering is the villain. He is Adriana's nemesis. He is utterly misreading the text. Such are the dangers of authorship, I grinned. No doubt many others will misconstrue your words in their turn. But Havering thwarts Adriana constantly and condescends to her at every turn. He even threatens her with a rapier. How can such a relationship be misread? Demoiselle Williamson dug into her venison savagely, muttering of interfering fathers and irresponsible readers. Wisely, I said nothing. There was clearly nothing that could be done for this unfortunate father-daughter pair. And with Bombay so close, now was not the time to attempt any risky reconcilements. Oh dear. I'm no tourist, Sir Francis declared with cheerful glee towards my master as they dealt another hand. Now, what's his accent to be? I am taking the train to Calcutta on important business. I believe we will head that way ourselves, I replied cheerfully, since having Sir Francis around kept my master in good spirits. Capital! Sir Francis exclaimed. And even Monsieur Fogg looked passingly pleased. He might even perhaps have said as much, except that just then Monsieur Williamson stormed in, threw a glove at me, and bellowed a challenge. I looked at my master in confusion, but he merely lifted one eyebrow and glanced back at the gentleman in question. "You," said Monsieur Williamson, voice dripping with venom, "are Lord Havering, and you have led my daughter astray." "I am not Lord Havering," I insisted, as though I perceived, unlike the rest of the recreation room, that Monsieur Williamson was referring to the character in Adriana and the Lost Sarcophagus of Thebes. The man scowled. "Besides which, Lord Havering is clearly a villain and not a romantic hero." "Aha!" He picked up his glove and then tossed it once more. "You have read her text, you blackguard, and yet the way we spoke together, you acted quite the charming innocent." He drew his arm back and made a fist. I realized he was almost certainly about to punch me in the face. I threw my own punch preemptively. It landed in a sickening crunch of flesh and bone. He collapsed like a sack of potatoes, clutching his broken nose and bleeding profusely upon the carpeted deck. I stared at him in horror. "What in the name of Ra and Osiris is going on?" Miss Williamson shouted, arriving at that precise, unfortunate moment. She seized her father by the armpits and dragged him away, muttering various unladylike curses as blood trickled off his chin, and I dusted myself off. Monsieur Fogg regarded me with remarkable aplomb, given the scene which had preceded. "You would tell me, would you not, if you had outraged any ladies of late, Passepartout?" he remarked. I nodded neatly, trying, if possible, to regather my composure. "Relations with Fogg have deteriorated slightly. Your character is now zestful." I kept to my cabin on the last day of our journey to avoid any repetition of the previous evening's debacle, but I could not avoid Miss Williamson as we disembarked at Bombay. She clutched her hands to her bosom theatrically as she spotted me. "Goodbye, my dear Lord Havering," she called, counterfeiting a sickly, love-struck smile. "I will never forget you." I rolled my eyes at her as her father turned a bright, horrible shade of red beside her. And then we disembarked into the humid, salt and smoke-laced air of Bombay. We had arrived in India. Ooh, we can complete our air gear set here for protection against the strong winds in the air. Okay. You can manage another case, can't you, Passepartout? Market. Turmeric? Worth £1,400 in Singapore. The most valuable. If we go to Singapore, is that it? Nothing else will fit? No. Well, we don't need the European shipping time. Well, we don't need a Sophos's ship times anyway. Do we? No, we don't. Get rid of it. Valuable in Walter, Nova Goa and Hong Kong, or a set of dominoes. Let's get the tobacco, we can sell it or something, yeah. Goodness me. We should have gone to Berlin. Still, maybe we can drink it. Well, you know what? It's £33, and it was flipping worth 2,300 in Berlin. Oh, no use now. Get rid of it. Dominoes then. Okay. So, if we can get to New Zealand, we'll have to stay here to go to the bank. He wants more money. Let's have a look. Voltaire, Rangoon. I'm tempted to go to Singapore just to sell some stuff, but then we can go to Manila or maybe New Zealand, because that way we can get across the Pacific. To South America, or we might go via Manila and maybe we will get a flight from there. Monsieur Fogg cared not a straw for the wonders of Bombay, but gave me a few hours' leisure as he settled to his evening paper. I ended up wheezing and puffing my way up Malabar Hill, the highest point in South Bombay. I paused at the top to look towards the city. I could see the gas lamps along the Queen's Necklace of Marine Drive being lit one by one in preparation for the evening, and palm trees waving in the salt-scented breeze. Catching my breath, I found my steps irresistibly drawn towards the Banganga temple. The temple tower was reflected serenely in the water of the reservoir, fed by an underground spring said to come from the Ganges. I entered the temple, fascinated by the relief carvings of gods and goddesses which covered the entire Gopuram. One of the priests spotted me and issued a great pained cry of alarm. I let loose my own shout in response, an entirely instinctual reaction which seemed to baffle him somewhat. Alas, the priest's cry drew the attention of his fellows and other temple-goers, all of whom descended upon me in a pack. They took my shoes and hat and ejected me from the temple complex with rather zealous roughness. "But my shoes, my hat," I remonstrated to the priest's angry backs. A woman in a deep amber sari offered me a pristine white handkerchief. "Non-Hindus are not allowed in the temple," she declared, "especially with their shoes on." "I did not realize," I explained, and she sniffed. "Where do you think you are, Gora?" she demanded, her hand on hip. "This is not Paris, this is Bombay. Bother yourself to learn the difference." I handed her back her handkerchief with thanks. Though I was irritated by her words. Their customs mattered little to me. To lose my shoes to them was a real desecration. I returned to my master barefoot and rather shamefaced. "I hope that this will not happen again," said my master coldly. That was to be the last word on Bombay, gateway to the jewel in the crown of the British Empire. Except for... "And what, pray, has happened to your shoes?" spent a few hours in exploration, learning the ways in which we might travel onwards. Well, we know about Calcutta, but I think Colombo was best, or Goa. That's expensive, but why? Monsieur Fogg snapped shut his ledger. Let us see if this bank can offer us a good return for our time. I regarded the manager of the bank we entered, a well-dressed, calm gentleman who greeted us with eager enthusiasm. You want to make a withdrawal? The manager asked. You may have to wait a day or two. £3,000 in 3 days? Oh. We require £3,000, I said. The manager drew a sharp breath. I will have to communicate with London first, of course. He apologized. I should have a reply in 3 working days. It seems, Monsieur Fogg remarked as we left, we have some time to dispose of. Return to the bank on Friday to collect your funds. We boarded an ironclad at Motic for the trip to Nova Goa. I'd like to go to Goa myself, I have to say. The journey was a short jaunt, so I spent the time on the observation deck, trying to get more of a sense of the scale and size of this land, the jewel in the British Empire's crown. Some of our possessions could earn us well here. So the Portuguese had once dominated vast tracts of India. Their influence was now limited to Goa and its capital city of Nova Goa. The whitewashed Red Wolf City had a particular charm. Sea-salted air blew through gull moha and acacia trees. Steepled colonial churches rang there by spells, and the steam-powered bicycles and rickshaws jutted over the cobbled streets. The harbour was well developed, and most airships and seagoing vessels flew the blue-white vertical bicolour of the Portuguese Empire. I was watching the flags flutter in the breeze when I was knocked over by a pair of wheezing sailors. "Watch out!" one admonished. "A touch late for that," I commented, still prone. One of the sailors hauled me up, while the other brushed off the dust and sand that clung to my clothes. "Abel, you're so clumsy, you fool!" "Don't blame me for this, Giglio," the younger man shot back. "Ignore my older brother, he's a pompous ass," Abel told me. "An ass, am I?" Giglio roared. Thank you." You're welcome, stranger, Abel said, ignoring his brother. "Sorry about knocking you down, aren't we?" Giglio left off, glaring and shuffling his feet. "Sorry about knocking you down," he mumbled. "We're the Noronha brothers, and I suppose we owe you a drink." "But not today, because we're setting off for Ceylon in an hour," his brother interjected. "The captain will string us up if we're late. Come aboard, we'll smuggle you in." With that I disappeared in a cloud of sand and curses. Oh, Ceylon, I called out goodbye to them. But I doubt that they heard. Apparently my master was not the only one in an unseemly hurry to escape from Nova Goa. I walked the streets a while, discovering the possibilities of how we might make progress. I should go to the market. Novagore to Bangalore was a quick hop aboard a Savarkar Atmotic at high speed. By the time we reached our cruising altitude, we had more or less arrived. I spent the few hours we had attending to my master's state and attending to his collar, and I watched the vigour return to his face minute by minute. Then the airship landed. We will have to sleep here and explore in the morning. We spent most of our time in Bangalore cantonment rather than the city proper, as it was administered directly by the Raj. The cantonment held the largest British garrison in South India and had therefore developed the churches, shops, bars, clubs, bungalows, schools, gardens and theatres required to sustain such a concentration of officers, mem-sahibs and children. I had a few hours to spare, so I took a walk in Meads Park, where a group of off-duty cavalry officers were playing a game of cricket under the shade of peepful trees. "Fancy playing with us?" a young chap with a sparse, optimistic moustache called out. "I don't play cricket," I told him, with a shrug. "Don't play cricket?" He looked utterly aghast. My dear fellow, how can this be?" Clearly, it was of that particular mould of Englishmen who ordered their life around the cricket lawn and the fox hunt. "No interest, really," I replied. "No interest?" He repeated my words to himself several times, as if that would somehow alter their meaning. He squinted at me as though he were an artificer, and I a particularly troublesome automaton. "You are quite serious?" "I do not care for sport." He looked quite ill at my statement. "You continentals," he said in an odd, strangled tone. "You're even stranger than the natives. At least they like a cricket match, same as any Englishman." When I told Monsieur Fogg of my encounter, his face eased into a most uncharacteristic smile. "I played cricket as a child," he said. "The gentleman's game." I should admit here that I had always imagined my master to have sprung fully formed and complete with cravat and spats from his mother's womb. The notion of him as a child, and more so as a child who played games, well, perhaps my master had a heart after all. I struck up a few conversations here and there, hunting for options for how we might proceed. The bank opens at 11. I may be able to extract some money straight away. Who knows? Is anything valuable? Oh, wow. What can I sell? Oh dear. I will sell the dominoes. I'll move the timetable over here, and I will put the rifle in here. That is it. I wish to travel to Calcutta. How do I do that? No, I wish to go back to Bombay, sorry. Left click, right click, double click. Can I not do that? What can I do? I must stay here another night. Oh dear. As night fell, I afforded my master every service and spent a few hours polishing shoes in the lobby, earning £58 in fees and tips. I will go to Bombay. I want to go to the bank. Cannot go back. Oh. So I cannot go to the bank. Oh. Monsieur Fogg looked quite resolved. We must once again make a demand upon the bank, I fear, he declared. I regarded the manager of the local financial institution, a smart, cool lady who met us with warm professionalism. You would like to take out funds, we were told. It may take a few days. It will take too long, informed the manager. We left the bank. We need to find some other way to fund ourselves, Monsieur Fogg said. My plan is in tatters. I must go to Madras. Bring my best back here, it is difficult. Before retiring, I helped the kitchen staff to clean, earning £105. Departs tomorrow. Let's look at the roads. So, tomorrow, yes. Okay. I don't know how to get back out of this map, so I click on him, and it does work, yes. So we shall stay here another day. We took a room, settled in, and I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning £56 in fees and tips. Depart. We hired a patron from Bangalore for the long and uncomfortable drive across the middle of India to Madras, following the line of the Palar River. Greetings, Mademoiselle Chanagir. I'm very sorry, I'm so late. Madras has changed hands many times between the British and the French. Is it possible to travel from Madras to Singapore? Let's just say that merchants in Yokohama will pay fantastic amounts for sheets of tin from Singapore. Tell me more about Singapore. Did you know merchants in San Pedro will pay a huge amount for handheld mirrors from Singapore? But answer me this, have you heard of the warrior king Tipu Sultan? No. No, mademoiselle, a local hero? A legend. He fought the British with his armies of clockwork tigers 100 years ago. Is it possible to go from Singapore to Stone Town? Let's just say that the last bank in Stone Town has closed. I do not know about Batavia. Look here, the most efficient way to Batavia from here is to go via Colombo. Goodbye. I do not know where Batavia is anyway. So. The speed of our patron was cruelly slow over the rough roads. I was glad to have the canopy overhead and keep out of the powerful sunshine. The boats made their way leisurely along beside us. It was a gentle, calm way to spend a day. As the afternoon wore on, the ocean became visible, a glittering blue cloth. Departs tomorrow, £200. I can go from there to Singapore, yeah. I think that is good. Watch it go. Departs tomorrow, arrives tomorrow, okay. Madras was a city within a city. Inside the walls and fortifications of Fort St. George was White Town, where British memsahibs and factors traded and went to church and travelled from place to place in mechanical palanquins. Outside the walls was the glorified shanty of Blacktown, where Indian servants and labourers and clerks made their homes. I stayed in White Town, of course, and wandered its manicured gardens and broad-gaslit streets, attracting little attention from the residents or their servants. A valet was no doubt a common sight. But after a few minutes, I realized I was being stalked. I turned to face my shadow, to find myself face to face with a nun. "Would you like a blessing, good sir?" An ornate gold cross hung heavily from her neck. "No, thank you, sister." "I think," she grated, "that you really do want a blessing." Then, without so much as a by your leave, she brought her heavy gold cross down on my head with a crack. My vision sputtered and sparked into blackness. When I awoke, I was in a nunnery. My nun assailant offered me a coolcloth. "I am Sister Panimala, and this is the convent of the Sisters of Didacus." "Nuns are not supposed to go around kidnapping people," I declared indignantly. "The ways of God are mysterious to men," the nun replied, notably not apologizing. "Besides, we need your help," she added. "My order does not believe, as the Pope does, that automatons are abominations. We believe that machines, too, are capable of grace." "You believe that automatons have souls, don't you?" she twinkled, a most un-nun-like expression. She twinkled a most Building an automaton is like raising a child. They are shaped in our image, as we are in God's. Those blasphemers of the Artificers Guild know nothing of God, and so their creations are godless. "And you want godly machines?" I asked carefully. "Church on Sunday, following the commandments, or that?" "The Didacian sisters are dedicated to the search for a machine which has a soul, and now we require your help in our search." "Why me?" I groaned. "Why choose to hit me over the head, of all people?" "I just had a feeling about you." "A feeling?" I shouted. "You concussed me for a feeling?" Feelings are powerful things. Sister Panimala escorted me to the entrance of the nunnery. If you find an automaton whose shard is engraved with a soul on your travels, send a telegram to us. We have our own receiving station here. We will reward you materially if that is your wish, but we must have such a shard. As you say, sister, I agreed, wishing to make good my escape. I'll inform you at once. I have faith, the nun said calmly. Then she let me go. I did not know what to make of Sister Panimala and her order of artificial nuns then, and I do not know now. I admit I was glad to know we would be leaving Madras and its walls and fortifications and secrets. I browsed around, my ears open, investigating the various ways in which we might continue. Cell. It is doubtful we will be going to Manila. Oh, we might. I will get it. It is possible we will go to Hong Kong. Monsieur Fogg looked steadfast. My funds at home are not unlimited. I would prefer not to draw on them, but... And with that complaint issued, he snapped shut his ledger. I regarded the bank manager of the local bank, a small man who welcomed us with practiced professionalism. You wish to make a withdrawal? The manager asked. You may have to wait a few days. We require £1,000, I declared. The manager nodded. I will need to talk to the London branch to confirm, you understand? He explained. The funds will be ready tomorrow. My master shook hands on it, and we left the bank. Departs tomorrow. Departs tomorrow. Departs tomorrow. With the last light of the evening, I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning £44 in fees and tips. We returned to the bank at opening time to collect our funds, and then we were ready to proceed once more. Let us go. Go. We boarded a fast airship run by a British company as I promised to reach Colombo within 2 hours. What is your wish, master? Passepartout, there you are. But how will we cross the Pacific, monsieur? There are many options, but which one we will choose will decide our route across the Americas. The journey will be most expensive, monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. The journey will be most expensive, monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. From buying and selling our possessions as we travel. The journey will be most expensive, monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as we travel. The airship was not as fast as advertised, of course, but not to any considerable degree, and they more than made up for it with some excellent tea, and my master was untroubled. A little dishonesty should form part of any traveller's calculations, he advised me. Only a fool would not expect such behaviour. I need all this stuff. That is not juice, probably. I would like to buy the Zeotrop, but I need another suitcase. Oh. Very well. That will do. Departs in 4 days, oh my god. Departs tomorrow. Departs tomorrow, or arrives Friday? Or this one arrives next Tuesday. My god. These routes are now out, so I have to choose. Oh my god, what do I do? Oh. This is a whole week. We cannot do that. Let's go. Very well. But from Chittagong we must perhaps go to Hong Kong somehow. We spent the night in our charming suite in the Grand Oriental Hotel, opposite the Victoria Arcade. The clattering of the electric trams ran late into the night, mixing with the lowing of the oxen drawing the poorer people's carts across the cobbled streets. Where do we go? Departs at noon, okay. Hong Kong, maybe? We are not going to go to Singapore. I think I shall sell that. Hong Kong? Manila, maybe? Well, oh, wait a moment. Beijing, maybe. I do not know. The Kempussom, the Sorn, was an early model Savar car automatic with a lovingly restored paint job and new engines. My husband painted her, Captain Bunyasak said proudly. He's also the ship's cook, so address any complaints directly to the source. I'm sure the food will be delicious, I said stoutly. You are so polite. Captain Bunyasak thumped me on the back as if I had made an excellent joke. Tell me it is delicious after you try it. And with such important details settled, we took off. Good thing we are not in Madras, huh? We had an opportunity to sample Monsieur Bunyasak's fare at dinner. Rich rice noodles drenched in coconut milk, flavoured with chilies and coriander, thin sliced papaya salad, steamed fish stuffed with kaffir lime leaves and lemongrass. Poor Monsieur Fogg struggled, partial as he was to meals which had been boiled to within an inch of their desultory lives. Publishing sensation Noah Williamson has Voyage d'Amour exclusive. That might mean poor Passepartout. The Kempussom was an informal ship. The crew, passengers and captain all ate together, shouting stories and jokes all the way down a long table. First mate's Srimuang swung his grizzled face in my direction. Most of us met the captain in Malacca when it was still the best damn port in the world. Did the captain already have a ship? She had a little Burmese courier ship back then, terrible in bad weather, but it could land in a bowl of soup, he reminisced. What's more interesting is what the captain was up to in Malacca. And what was that? I prompted. Captain Bunyasak spent every meal at the local Thai restaurant. We all thought she was enamoured of the food, but the captain had her eye on the chef all along. Poor Sorapong didn't have a chance. She carried him off within a month. We've all eaten very well since. A cheer went up along the table at that, and the captain's voice was the loudest. We were a day's journey from Chittagong when one of the engines ground to a halt. The ship tilted alarmingly, but seemed to stay in the air, though Captain Bunyasak's will alone. Are we going to crash? I asked fearfully as the ship shuddered and struggled. Only if you keep distracting me, the captain said through gritted teeth before tossing her head. I refuse to lose the Kempussom. I will not lose her. Her voice was thick with suppressed emotion, and I left her to her labours. We did not crash that night, but we did little more than inch towards our destination. Copenhagen bomb threats continue. Will they make it? What's the news? Diblovitz reports. Austro-Hungary readying for war. That's the report we heard about earlier. The crew was entirely absent at breakfast. It was a little eerie. As we ate our meal, Monsieur Bunyasak tried to persuade us to accept second helpings. Firada, that is the captain, is trying to fix the engine. Have faith in her skill. She seemed rather upset yesterday, I remarked. Her airship is probably going to crash, he said mildly, though I saw steel in his eyes. Is it so strange that she was upset? I did not mean to criticize, I said hurriedly. He hesitated. The Kempussom is named for our daughter, you see. We lost her when she was very young. Fiada will not let her namesake crash, I promise you that. Greetings, Monsieur Bunyasak. You must try my cooking and tell me what you think. I'm very interested in Chittagong. There are rumours of Indian freedom fighters in Chittagong. Oh, there are rumours of Indian freedom fighters in Chittagong. Is it possible to travel from Chittagong to Manila? Maybe, but some buyers pay well for zoetropes from Manila. Is it possible to go from Chittagong to Rangoon? No idea, but I do know you can buy bolts of pure silk in Rangoon that you can sell for profit in Hong Kong. Goodbye. True to Monsieur Bunyasak's words, is Captain Cox and Custer Campuson into Chittagong in the afternoon. Their engine venting the thick black smoke into the sky. Don't take this the wrong way, the captain said, seeing us off at Chittagong, but I think you two are damn bad luck. And that is the end of the hour. So I should save the recording there, and I'll see you in part 3. Bye for now.